Okay. Oh, there's Ben already. Ben's right on time. What's up, Ben? How's it going? Screen share. Jack might be
Okay.
you in cyberspace today, Ben. So that's cool. Maybe.
Uh, Jack should be here. I emailed him the link.
Oh, good. You did it too. Okay. We both emailed in the link. If he doesn't show up, it's because he's a coward. Anyway. All right. So y'all missed. We went over the beginning of the reading, but I didn't want to. And it's still frozen. Oh no! It's doing that thing.
No.
I have to restart the projector. I have.
Who's here?
Well, now they're
Who's
back.
here,
Anna,
Jacker?
Anna and Allie are back. It's not just McKinley today. And now I have to restart the projector, so it's going to take a second. The first thing I want y'all to do today, and so Ben, sorry, you're going to have to play along at home. I'm going to give them a template for noun declension ending things, and they're going to fill it out with either just fourth or fifth, or they're going to squeeze in third, fourth, and fifth. Or if they feel like they don't know first and second, they're going to try to squeeze. I don't think you could quite do five. You can do four. I had my eighth graders put in the first four because they don't have the fifth declension yet. And they're able to do that by splitting each square into like a quadrant. But I don't think we can do all five. So let's find out how well you guys know your first and second declension. Ben will play along too. I'll turn this around. So yeah, this will just be a way of gauging if you guys actually do know the first and second. I hope that y'all really know the first and second, but who knows? McKinley says, "Oh no," and he doesn't. And yeah, so y'all can probably just do third, fourth, and fifth, but we will see. Let's find out. Am I connecting? Come on.
It's probably the Latin. You might have to learn Latin.
Oh, true. It's those. Yeah. So I want to go to a movie on Friday, but I saw an article I didn't click on that says something like going to a movie theater is the worst thing you can do right now in terms of catching. But like, why would it be?
Well, the movie theater should be pretty clean.
It's like the seat. It's the fact that people are like you're sitting in a seat that someone else was sitting in for like 2 hours. Like
all you're getting is warm butts and probably
ew.
What?
Well, it is true. It's not like anyone was like licking the chair. Yes. I think so. So if I were y'all, I would probably see how Allie's making 3 chunks in each square. That's probably the way to go. Is the biggest one for third? That makes sense. I would almost maybe make the biggest one fifth since that's a new one. But
I don't know.
my projector is what if it just breaks? Okay, it's on. The thing is on. So now I just have to get it on this end. It's searching for the projector.
Well, we can't. We could go to another classroom and just.
Here it is. No. Okay. Here it is. Finally. All right. Let's move this down here. Okay. Real quick, before we start doing, I'll like help you guys kind of do the third, fourth, and fifth. But let's just see where we're at with the first. So I'm going to get you a person, and you're going to tell me both the singular and plural ending of that case. Real quick, I want to write it in black. I could have set this up probably. That would have been nice. Oh, Ben did it. No one did it. Ben. Yeah, exactly. Ben, you got it. Is Jack in there yet? I guess Jack is.
What?
Obviously, like jet lagged or something. All right. So Ben, what are the first declension nominative singular plural endings?
Sorry, can you repeat the last word?
The nominative singular and plural endings. First declension.
Nominative, singular, and plural.
Uh-huh.
A
Yep.
and A E.
Yes, very good. Anna, what's the genitive ones? And it's a 4-letter one. It's really big. It's A-R-U-M, but yeah, pretty much. The dative singular, it's solidifies my least favorite ending of all time. Allie, it's the A-E. So that's why A-E is my least favorite, and then U-M is my second least favorite ending of all time. Maybe U-M is actually takes the cake now. Once you have
There, he's here.
I guess that's cool, Ben. Yeah, so that's why I kind of need to start using the camera because you can't see what I'm writing, and but that is kind of the way. Anyway, what is the dative plural? Sorry. Yes, long. Yep, Ben's got it. Okay, Ben's just going to town. All right, Ben, show us if you know all of the first declension. What are the ablatives? Kind of crazy.
A and
Yes. Long A, and then
I
and then who cares about the vocatives? All right.
me.
We didn't even get to McKinley though. McKinley, how do you feel about first declension when it's overlaid
I
on?
think
onto
it's in
itself?
the back of my mind, but I can somewhat recite it.
What do you
Just
think
like-
your weak point is? Anna kind of forgot about the gender probe, but once I reminded her that it was long, she was like, "Oh yeah." Well, what part of this do you feel like you
The
don't? Really
IS, I don't exactly remember, but most of the A's I kind of get, except for AE and the vocative. And like you said, no one cares about vocative.
Yeah. And remember, dative and ablative are almost always the exact same. It's actually weird. Well, the plurals are always the exact same. The singulars sometimes vary in the first and third declension, but the plurals are always the same. And then we love the ablative singular because it's really distinct. Like, let's put a star by the ones that are very distinct. Ablative singular, love it. Accusative singular, I really like it. I'll put a half star because where else does AS show up? It's a weird half star.
The third,
It does open third declension nominatives like felicitas and cubiditas and stuff. So it's actually nominative. So AS is not quite as good as AM. RM, that's super distinct. That's really distinct. And then actually, so if I'm like thinking of a vocativeless world, the A, well, second declension. So I'll take away some of that stuff. All right, let's run through the second, and then we'll actually get to the big boy declensions. The big kid declensions, as it were. Second, so McKinley, what is the second declension nominative in these? There's actually two of them. Look up.
it's U,
U what?
R. U and R.
You're skipping a letter. U.S. and R. So
Oh.
think of the country we live in, United States, and then think of the USSR, maybe United Soviet States of Russia. So Ben, if you choose to look at my camera, can you kind of see the board in a way that's somewhat satisfying?
Kind of.
Okay.
Like I can see the screen, but I can't. I can kind of make out the word.
I want to see. Okay, I'm actually not charging right now, so I can probably just move it like right here, and then it should be like basically pretty good. Because yeah, I know you're like kind of in the dark. But so maybe for just right now, turn on your camera. Turn on my camera. So US or R. R, it's just Puer, augur, and weird. Those are the only three words that end in R. What is the nominative plural?
UM.
No, you're thinking of a neuter.
UE. No, wait, US. No, wait, UE.
We don't say cactuses, we say cact,
Cactus.
and we're mispronouncing the long
I.
I. Yeah, in American English, modern American English, we treat that as like an I sound. For Romans, it would have been E. Okay, the genitive. Ben, what is the genitive endings for second declension?
Second declension. Orum.
And the singular is
Just I.
yeah. So
With an
So nominative, plural is repeating the genitive. The dative is what, Anna? The IS or plural, yeah, but what's the singular one? It's a long vowel. No, not I. The I is basically done until vocative. Ellie? Oh, so you don't know the dative singulars, McKinley?
Is it?
Well, it's IS on the plural
Yeah.
side, the singular. No? Ben, do you know the singular dative masculine ending, second declension masculine ending? Mask is insane.
O.
Yes, good. Okay, yes. Oh. But then again, we don't know if Ben has a sheet out in front of him. He could be Googling. No, I'm kidding. Accusative is UM. UM is good for all of like one chapter when we get in chapter 3. Then as soon as you get to chapter 4 and learn neuter nouns, it stops being good. I don't like UM. And then OS. Ablative is also long O. And then ISPN. And then the vocatives, this is actually the only vocative that does change from the nominative. The US will become E, where the R stays the same. That is second declension. Now, real quick before we move on to the ones we actually need to talk about, let me add my neuter endings. So neuter nominatives end in, instead of US, they end in UM. And then the nominative plural is going to be A. So unfortunately, that's what makes this A be less valuable and unique. And then the accusative singular is the same, UM, and the accusative plural is also A. So don't forget about those neuters, and that'll go for third declension as well. Speaking of which, let's do 3, 4, 5. That's what we actually came here to do. Okay, so y'all got stumped a few times. Kind of surprised I got stumped on dative singular. Whereas first declension, the dative and the ablative are different. Second, they're the same on the singular and plural side. Just a long O. But y'all mostly seem to be pretty good with those. It's just really good to know those declensions or those endings because they show up in more places than just first and second declension nouns. They show up, as we're seeing with our participles, with the perfect passive participle they show up, with the future active participle they show up, and yeah, that's it. But that's important. Okay, I'm gonna do what Allie and maybe Anna also. Anna, you did so it's like 3 columns going down. Either way, okay. I'm gonna, since fifth is kind of new, I'll do fifth as the biggest one, and we'll squeeze third into the upper left.
Except for Bach.
I'm doing this the weirdest way, like the most long way to do it. Just go down. Okay. So third declension. Let's see how we do with the third declension. I'm gonna use. I wanted to use orange last when I did this with 8th graders. It's not the worst orange. I think under the projector it looks bad.
Well, it actually looks good. It doesn't
All right.
hurt my eyes.
For us, it'll work. So, Ben, what is the nominative third declension ending or ending?
Me?
The what?
Me?
Yep,
Well, it depends on the word.
it does. As in, so what should we put for nominative singular?
Just question mark or a line through it.
Question mark. Though we did just go over the I stem third declensions, and a lot of those end in what? Anyone? A lot of those end in IS. Maybe don't worry about that. What is the nominative plural? Ben? The nominative plural.
Why am I the subject of everything?
Huh? What?
Why you keep calling on
I don't know. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Nominative plural is ES, okay? Genitive singular, Anna, is what? Yeah, good. It's an IS, and it is a normal IS. That's important.
Wait, that exists?
What?
Normal IS?
No, yeah. So that's important, McKinley. Normal IS, because we want to be able to differentiate it from the ablative and dative plural of first and second. So that is a very important IS. It is not long IS. That is important. You see that IS, you are either dealing with an I stem third declension nominative or a genitive, and that's it. So we actually like IS. I'm going to put a star by it. Pretty unique. Because I put macrons on the ISs that need the IS. Genitive plural is what? Where was it? Was I on Anna? Anna, what's a genitive plural? I'm sorry? Not long I. I hate this genitive plural. It's already shown up twice for our second declension.
Is that a long E?
No. Okay. It's not orum. It's actually just UM, and that's why I don't like it. Now, it still ends up looking like orum with certain third declension nouns like tempor, temporis, because it looks like temporum, but technically it's just a UM ending. That's why I don't like the UM ending. It shows up in too many places. It's bad. But if you know it's third declension and it is an UM, that's a genitive. What is a dative singular, Allie? Good. And I like this long I. It's actually useful to know this long I beyond just third declension because a lot of our pronouns in the dative singular end in the long I. Let me think of it. So like eti and like
Eti.
is it ipsy? I might be wrong. No, it is ipsy. And then even something like Hewick. I see the I and it makes me think of third declension dative. I know that's probably doesn't help too much, but a lot of pronouns show up with I in the dative. What is dative plural, Allie? Ibis. Yes, it sounds like the sound that like a Russian person would think a frog makes.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like ribbit. Would be like ibis. Y'all know how like in other countries they like we say cows go moo, sheep go baa. Every country has like a different idea of what the sounds that animals make are, and it's always like totally different. I should look them. I should show them to you guys on Friday.
What the heck is that? What do they think sheep make?
It'll be something weird like people in Kazakhstan think it's like TT or something, or like it's some like random sound that like we don't think anyway. I'll find examples. I can't think of a good example. What is the accusative, McKinley? The accusative singular.
Is it just long O-M? No, not O-M.
No.
Uh,
It is something M.
It does end with M. Is it just the EM?
Yeah, good. Remember, third declension really likes E and I. So it's EM. So you want to differentiate the EM from the UM. The genitive plural is UM, where the accusative singular is EM. These are different. Accusative plural is
Yes.
yes, good. McKinley knows his third declension. Ablative singular is what, Ben? Is Ben still there? Do we lose Ben?
Yes, I'm still here.
What's the singular ablative?
Singular ablative,
Uh-huh.
it would just be E.
Yeah, just E. Most of our ablative singulars are long vowels. This is just a short E, so not a long E.
You
And
are
the-
non-consistent, Latin. I do not like your declension.
I like them. Don't worry, Latin. I like them. So ablative plural is ibis. It's ibis. And then I'll do my vocatives. It's just going to be the question mark again and the ES. That's third. Okay, fourth declension I think of as being kind of purple. So let's see if we can remember the fourth declension. I might even have to check, honestly, because it's kind of weird. Let's see. I know it's like, y'all got chapter fourth declension in chapter 20. And my 8th graders just got it, but I don't think I've gotten a ton of practice, so it's fine if y'all don't know like any of these. But Anna, can you remember what the nominative of a fourth declension is? Close. It's the same as second, actually. It's you. Yeah. So if you're just looking at the nominative singular, you will not know if it's second or fourth. You have to look at the genitive too to be able to tell. The nominative plural is also US, but not quite. It's you. Well. How is it different? Anyone? No, it's still US, but there's something that makes it
macaron?
over the U. And we've like never really seen macrons overused. Maybe a little bit we've seen macrons overused, but they haven't really been a thing yet. These macrons will be very important for us. The genitive singular is also what, Anna? What do you think the genitive singular is also going to be? It's long US again, yeah. So that's pretty typical. I guess third declension is the only exception to that, where the genitive singular is not repeating the nominative plural. Usually the genitive singular is the nominative plural. The genitive plural, you got to guess what it might be. It's similar to third declension, but add something. Not IUM, it's actually...
UIM?
UUM.
Yes, it's UUM. There's a lot of U's in fourth.
Oh, so that's what that
Ooh.
is. I thought that meant like some sort of verb phrase. Actually, not.
No, that's a very distinct ending. If you see UUM at the end of a noun, you know it's a genitive plural fourth
I've
declension.
never. I think that's why I mixed up some stuff.
The dative is what, McKinley? What do you think the dative is?
Just
It's U something. U and then what letter? Think third declension.
UI.
Yeah, it's UI. It's like ooey. And then the dative plural is what?
Ubus? No, wait. UI?
Yeah, you would think it's UB, US, and I honestly almost wanted to put something like that. It's actually just ibis again. It's ibis again. The accusative, very straightforward, is what? Ben, what do you think the accusative is?
Oh gosh. UM?
Yeah, just UM. So again, there's kind of some overlap with second declension a little bit. These are like mutated second declensions that like are mixed with third a little bit. The accusative plural is for the third time long US. So when you see a noun in long US, it is either nominative plural, genitive singular, or nominative plural. So that's the overlap we're used to in first and second declension, mixed with the overlap we're used to in second and third neuter, or any third. Did you follow that? I barely did. What is the ablative singular, Anna? What do you think it might be? It's actually just a, because ablative loves just single letters. Yeah, so it's a long U. E is still the only ablative vowel that's not long. And the ablative is going to be ibis, and then we repeat this.
Of course, they just do ibis all over again. It's like they have no creativity when it comes to words.
It's pretty true. And then neuter, we only have one neuter one, so let's not worry about it. But it's just cornua, cornus, cornua. It's A over and over again. UA rather. It's UA, 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 UA. Let's not worry about it. Who cares? Okay, so that's fourth. And now this chapter, the grammar we're actually supposed to be learning, it doesn't feel like it because we've been spending so much time kind of catching up, is fifth declension. Was that chapter 23? So chapter 23 is fifth declension and participles? Dang. All right, I want to use like a like a sunset orange, like a bright, fiery red orange for fifth declension.
Well, there's only one thing we need to do. We need to go find a hamster.
I'm gonna use red, even though I used red for first. I'm gonna do red. Why a hamster? What?
Well, you
Okay.
can, well, a hamster, you can take its tongue and make it write a thing and put color on it and make it very complicated.
That's true. So I don't think we know fifth. So I'm just gonna flip this guy over and go to town. The nominative singular is es. So we're gonna get that mixed up with third declension plural nominative, and then the nominative plural is also es, and then is e long I for genitive, which is kind of weird. So that's kind of a second declension kind of thing. And then we have, I should have done green to match the, and then arum. I actually like that genitive plural. I feel like that's like our first or second declension style.
That's
Genitive
actually
plural.
new. Instead of just reusing everything over
Yes.
again.
So McKinley approves in terms of the logic. There's actually some logic there. Dative, I still need to use whiteout on the board, but it's also long I. So the long I shows up in fifth declension. It's either genitive or dative. And then we have this new, so McKinley will like it, ebis or ebis. Ebis, what would that be? Fidelis? Ebis? Fidelis? The fifth declension is kind of rare. There are not a ton of fifth declension nouns that you end up seeing. Accusative, plural, or singular is em. That's third declension style. And then es for the plural. I'm going to take the line. I think these are technically, I think all the es's are technically long, but it's not super important. And the ablative is just a long e. So it actually has a long e, unlike third declension, and then the vocatives will be the same. So yeah, once you have the fifth declension, it really feels like you just have too much to keep track of. You basically do. That's kind of why I wanted to make these charts, so you can whip it out when we do homework. Now, real quick, let's do the functions, and then we can move on with our lives. Ben, what's the function of a nominative? I forgot. I hit my head and I forgot. What's the function of a nominative?
Oh man. Is it the subject?
It is? Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Okay, thank you.
Wow.
Though it can also be, maybe worth mentioning, the predicate nominative. That's not a subject. That's just a thing being equated with the subject. The genitive is what function, McKinley?
All right, it is a preposition.
Well, I think Jack showed up. No,
What?
it's
Rosses.
possessive.
Oh, okay.
Possessive. I don't like when I have to do O's in cursive because then I don't know like how to come back.
I forgot how to write cursive.
Can Jack get in? Jack, are you there? I saw Jack enter, unless it's a mysterious third person.
Let's see. My brother had that happen too.
It is
Yes,
Jack.
Jack.
He's in, so he's fine. Okay, he just doesn't have his thing on. I think he can turn it off if he wants to. Jack, we're just doing declension stuff, and then we're gonna do some other review. But we're almost done with this. Oh my gosh. And then it looks so bad. Full screen. Go full screen again. If you want to write of an apostrophe s, that would be a good reminder. I think y'all know this, but who knows? Dative, it is the indirect object, though it is actually getting more complex for us nowadays. So you might want to add a 2 and a 4 for dative of purpose or respect. Do, easy. Ablative, let's write all the ablative prepositions. Just kidding, but we can, maybe y'all can squeeze some of them in instead of writing object of preposition. So we have cum, in, sine, de, ex, all of the froms, ob, pro, and sub. That's what I can think of. And I don't think y'all can squeeze it in, but for accusative, it's like in, propter, add, post, and anti, inter, and per. Most of the newer ones we've got. And vocative, who cares? It's I'll just put an exclamation. All right, now y'all have a new noun chart. I hope it's actually worthwhile. I mean, I can tell y'all don't know these, so like, hopefully you do actually use it. I don't see why
So
not.
no more noun charts after this. We're done forever.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the master noun chart. Unless we made a huge one that we could fit all 5 of them together on. I mean, nouns aren't really ever going to get too much more complicated than how they are now. The dative will. The dative will expand a good bit. There's actually the dative has a lot going on. All right, I am going to erase it. So am I good too? Yeah. All right.
I feel anger for dative.
Some people I know really like the dative. It's their favorite case.
But dative is just so messed up. It's never consistent.
Well,
It's
no-
just there.
It for a little while it was just the indirect object, but then it turns out it can also sometimes be possessive.
What were these guys thinking when they made up this language? They're like, hey, let's confuse everybody.
I think they weren't thinking anything. They were letting a language develop organically, like how languages do develop, and so it ends up being a little not messy, just kind of asymmetrical sometimes, a little
But
rococo.
then English was developed too.
No, oh yeah, you're right, Ben. He's out of date. But we're doing a review, so this is actually relevant. This is one of the last lessons we did before quarantine, so I will not dwell on this at all. But chapter 17, it's on the list of chapters to review, so that those are relative pronouns. It is worthwhile looking at the way we translate these depending on what case they're in. So it'll be who, which, or that for the nominative whose, or of which for genitive. Of which,
You
what's
change
this?
that green, it's so bright.
No, I wanted to burn your red now off.
Apple.
Oh, I can just fit that. And then whom for the object cases if it's a person. Otherwise, it'll still just be which or that. So I won't, well, I'll just write it. Yeah. And what's weird here? Well, cuius is kind of weird. The genitive is a little weird, cuius. But we should be used to pronouns having the ius ending. And then cui, the dative singular, there's our third declension looking I ending that we were just talking about. And then quibus as ablative and dative plural. The accusatives seem very accusative-y, first and second declension style. And so do the ablatives. But yeah, the man who was from Italy was my dad. Let's see. Let's do. Who can translate this one real quick? Ben, Jack, Hannah, Allie, or McKinney. Who can? So what does diligo mean? It means I esteem. So I esteem
Girl.
the girl
The girl.
who came
From
from
Italy.
Italy. Yeah. So what is my relative pronoun, anyone?
That was
It's what? We actually say, you mean that? Yeah, quai. Yeah, quai is a relative pronoun. So our relative clauses will have, they'll usually start with a relative pronoun and end in a verb. And any other kind of words can actually be contained within it. And then last thing, what is the antecedent of this relative pronoun? We need to know what antecedent is. It's easier than it sounds. Huh? Yeah, the girl. The antecedent, McKinley, in case you don't remember, that's the thing the relative pronoun is referring back to. And so it's like, he's there to be like, hey, I'm going to tell you more about my antecedent. Who is the girl? I love the girl. Which girl? The girl who came from Italy. So relative pronoun, quai, antecedent, puellum. Not too bad. They don't always start with the relative pronoun. They can start with a preposition that the relative pronoun is the object of. In this case, the man about who you were speaking is my dear friend in the main clause. They're only hard when the commas disappear, right? Like number 2 is like super easy because of the commas, but Romans didn't have commas, so we take them away, it gets more difficult. But that's why you just need to be aware, like when you see a qui qua in the middle of a sentence, it's not a question, you know it's like kind of the beginning of a relative clause. All right, there's a dative example. The girl to whom he gave a book is fortunate, or he is giving the book. The boy, here's a genitive one, the boy whose father we were helping is strong. So the relative clause can be any case it wants to be. Appeal is nominative as the subject of its sentence, but yeah, relative clauses have their own subject, their own direct object sometimes, and definitely their own verb. Any questions? Y'all feel pretty good? I don't think y'all are too bothered by these. We also use qui quod for asking questions, and those are interrogative pronouns and adjectives, which we'll review probably on Monday, along with our last review chapter, chapter 19. Oh wait, y'all need to review 20 and 21 too. Well, we kind of just did 20 with chapter 4. But anyway, there's a few more days of review, and then we'll just be in the present moment with chapter 23. We'll be all caught up. Okay, the other thing this actually is important to review is the passive verb voice that we first learned in chapter 8, and then it gets expanded upon in chapter 19 and 21, I think. So how do you guys feel about these endings? Do you feel like y'all are kind of able to keep up with? By the way, Anna, is the lectern blocking you at all?
No.
No? Okay.
Why is Baby Yoda there? What
It's been there.
But Baby Yoda's so like last year until the new
Yeah.
season comes out.
That's true. Well, it's like when I see the Marvel Avengers in the Jeopardy game, I'm like, they're still 2 years ago. But how do y'all feel about these endings? Do you feel like y'all kind of recognize these endings?
I recognize them so funny.
Do you understand how to translate a passive verb once you realize it's passive?
I am, are, they will, stuff like
My
that.
ears are on fire. Kind of. So the thing with passive verbs is that the subject is being acted upon instead of actively doing the verb. Up until chapter 18 McKinley, people were always actively doing it, right? The teacher was praising the student, actively praising the student. Cicero was teaching the poet or whatever. Now with passive verbs, the verb will actually act back onto the subject, which was a weird way of putting it. But so the important part of this is that you're going to have to bust out these helping verbs to do that. Am, are, and is, depending on what person it is, plus the verbed form of the verb. So loudo would just be I do what, McKinley? It'd be I
am being,
well, no, just do the active version of it, old school, chapter 1 style. Loudo means
I will, I don't know what
you're
I will.
overcomplicating it.
I
Praise. It's a
I
chapter
praise.
1 word. I praise, actively. I praise, direct object. Once we add the are, making it passive, it's going to be I am praised. Let's ignore being. You don't need to use it, so why would you use it? I am verbed. So, and you can't just say I verbed, because that would sound like it's active perfect tense. And you can't just say I am verb, because that's just bad grammar. It has to be I am plus verbed. And then am is going to change as we go through the second and third person. Okay, so it's going to switch to are for second, and is for third, and then back to are for third. So I am verb, you are verb, it is verb, etc. We still have the OST, not tis, but and then the int. So we mostly still have like something that reminds us of first, second, and third person singular active. But it's just like an R has been added to the occasion. So instead of just ending in S, it's RIS. Instead of ending in T, it's TUR. Instead of MUS, it's MUR. Mini is just really crazy. And then NTUR is the plural version of this one. So do y'all think y'all are going to be able to have, we might do a big master verb summary next week. Do y'all think that'd be a good idea? Yay or nay? If we did a chart that kind of had like,
Oh yeah,
all,
I like that.
it would have all 6 active tenses. Or remember, this was the rough draft. All 6 active tenses plus all 6 passive tenses. I think it might be a good idea. Because this is present passive, but we also have, we don't need to do that actually. We also have imperfect passive and future passive, but they're formed pretty easily. But then we get perfect passive in chapter, I think 19. But yeah, just to sum it up, active verb, the subject, verbs, a direct object, where passive verbs, subjects are verbed. Okay. And so imperfect ones are formed with just adding BA in between the stem and the ending. That's easy. Whereas future is a little weirder. It's mostly adding BI between the stem and the ending for third, singular, first, and second plural. But we get the futuristic font cake showing up, making an appearance. And second person is quite weird because it's BERIS. I guess I didn't like the way BI or IS looked. And then it's BOR instead of just R for first person singular. And that'd be I will be praised, you will be praised, etc. At least this way in the future, the helping verbs are not changing at all. It's always just going to be will be verbed. Whereas here, instead of am, is, are, it's going to be was or were. I was verb, you were verbed, it was verb, etc. That is a present passive. We have passive infinitives, which look just like active ones, except instead of ending in an E, they end in an I. So instead of to praise or to warn, it's to be praised, to be warned. And then last but not least, we have ablative of agent. I don't know why these examples are so small. Do they get bigger? They don't? Okay, they're really small. I thought I made them bigger last class. But anyway, since the subject is being acted upon, not the, the subject's being acted upon instead of doing the acting, the thing that's actually doing the verb, that will be covered by this thing called the ablative of agent, which I think y'all are pretty good at that too. That shows up with the preposition a or ob. So like, look at that second example. Kaiser is warned. Who is he warned by? Oh, gods, by gods. You didn't know that is the ablative of deus. And then if it's an inanimate object that's doing the verbing, it'll still just be ablative of what? Not agent, but if it's a thing, not a person, it'll be ablative of. Yeah, it'll just be means. So when you have a passive verb, like at least half the time, you'll also have an ablative of agent or means. All right, let's. Oh, those are the vocab words for this chapter. They're fine. This is what y'all have to. Oh no, this isn't on y'all's.
Yeah, that looks like old school.
But remember, y'all are getting re-quizzed tomorrow, so you need to study these vocab words. No more homework for this week, but y'all do have the retake on tomorrow, and you have chapter 23 on Friday. Y'all remember that?
Yes, another
Okay.
translation quiz, my favorite.
No, well, maybe a translation quiz next Friday. We'll finally be back in like the actual groove of things. So that'll be nice. All right, let's see if we can make. Oh yeah, this is where we kind of ended up. This is the last sentence of the first paragraph, and I warned you guys that it's like a real nasty sentence. I already kind of showed McKinley and I guess Ben.
I do not remember
what I came up with. But do Anna or Allie want to share what y'all got? It's really weird. A lot going on. First of all, cupio cupire is a verb meaning to wish. And it's important to know that it takes an infinitive. So let's just go up to this comma here. Ubi cupid eos metu aut misericordia moveri. What did y'all get for maybe just that first part? I'm just eager to hear. It's fine if it's wrong.
I had watched the video, so I didn't know that.
Okay, but okay. Well, y'all we're supposed to do a homework doing, but that's fine. Okay. So ubi is where or when. I think here it's going to be when. So like when he wishes, and then wishes is a weird verb. It can take a direct object and an infinitive. And I don't know when they told us that. It might have been in the, like, do we have this word cupio cupira? I guess we do. Okay, it takes a direct object and an infinitive sometimes. So when he wishes them, where's our infinitive? Where's our infinitive? Oh, is it here? What kind of infinitive is this? Oh, it's passive. It's passive. So when he wishes them, or those men, to be moved by fear or pity or mercy. I think I treated this like mercy. Well, what happens? Let's find the next verb. Where's the next verb, anyone? What's going to happen to these people when he wishes them to be moved by fear or pity? Anna? Yes, speak of the devil. We have a third plural. What kind of verb, Anna? Yeah, good. It's a passive one that we're just looking at. So when he wishes them to be moved by fear or pity, they are what? Yeah, they are terrified, right, McKinley? They are verbed by fear or, so he's just repeating that, pity. Oppressi. What is oppressi? It's this new verb we have, but like, what is it? For computer people, I'm motioning at the bottom of the screen right now. It is a participle. What kind of participle do you think? It's kind of hard to tell without looking at the dictionary entry. Yeah, perfect passive. Yeah, it's a perfect passive. Oh, it looks like somebody, Ben or Jack, thought it was future. No, it's perfect passive. Now I want to look at the word. It's not in there, is it? Because it's like oppress, oppresso, oppressora, oppressi. I don't want to find it. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Did they give it to us? No. But it's a perfect passive. It would mean what? Having been suppressed. Yeah. So having been suppressed. So when he wishes them to be moved by fear or pity, they are terrified, having been suppressed by fear or pity. So this is kind of weird. We can either have the second metu aut misericordia be the ablative of agent, or I'm sorry, the ablative means for territor or for oppressing. It's kind of unclear whether they are terrified by fear or pity, or they are terrified having been oppressed by fear or pity. Kind of ambiguous, but I guess there's not too much of a difference. Or they what? Or they give us this word. Anyone? Or they cry. Or they cry. So really what got me mixed up here is the outs. There's a lot of outs, and I kept wanting one of the outs to be an either or situation. I think they're all just or. None of these outs are actually going together. There's 3 of them, but I think they're all kind of separate conjunctions. And we keep having this ablative of means that is showing up. I meant to make this them accusative red, but whoopsie. But yeah, where's the textbook? Where's the textbook? No, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I just want to look at the dictionary entry for oppressive. It is a perfect passive though. Let's look at this real quick before the bell rings. De oratora etiam situ non adsidiens et attente audiens et uno aspectu et praeteriens eum aspexeris saepe iudicare poteris. Why are these sentences so big? Why do they have so many participles in them? Did anybody think of something different for de other than from or about? I don't know what it says in your dictionary, but de can sometimes be concerning. I think concerning here is better. Concerning the orator or the speaker. Concerning the speaker. What does etiam mean, anyone?
They,
Yeah, even or also. So even, see, if you are non-Adsidians, what is Adsidians? It's from Cedo, Cedera. I used to tell, I taught second graders Latin for a year. It was really hard. And I would say like sedete. It means to not stay. Yeah. So even if you are not, and what? Yeah, sitting, because it's what kind of participle? Yeah, present active. So even if you are not sitting and attentively audience, listening, yeah, those are how present actives work, right, McKinley? So even if you are not sitting and attentively listening, but let me find a verb. I need a verb. I feel like I need a real verb, not a participle verb. Yeah, but you, aspexeris, you have, yeah, looked or like noticed in or with one. Were they tell us for aspect? Oh, in one look. If you have looked in one glance, and praeteriens eum? Praeteriens eum. Another present active. They glossed this verb for us though. This one's real tricky. Yeah, and passing by him. So he's saying like, even if you weren't attentively sitting and listening, but you have noticed in one glance and passing by him, you have, so let's see, what's the best way to do that? How did I do it? So if you're not listening, if you're not sitting listening attentively, but in one glance and passing by, you have caught sight of him. Yeah, okay. So the actual sentence is, you have caught sight of him, and then everything else before that is just kind of like flavor, like, but in one glance and passing by, you have caught sight of him. So eum is the object of this verb, the actual verb, whereas this participle is just flavor. It's not, it doesn't actually have a direct object. That'd be weird if eum was the direct object that praeteriens is taking. I know this is crazy. I think they're just trying to throw so many participles at us in this reading that it feels like we're drowning in them. Like, this is a very hard reading. But we kind of need to acclimate to this
I
level.
do not like Cicero.
No, you do like Cicero. So even if you're not sitting listening attentively, but in one glance and passing by, so even that sounds weird, but actually it's grammatically fine. But in one glance and passing by, you have caught sight of him, then what? You technically will, but we're not going to translate it as though it's future. You will, what does pasta mean? Yeah, be able to judge. You will often be able to judge. So they're saying, like, if it's a good orator, even if you're not really listening to him too much, if you just kind of catch a glance of him, you're going to be able to tell if he's a good orator or not. But yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, like, this is, I don't want to say this sounds reductive, but this is kind of what I would describe as real Latin. It's not like you guys have been spending 2 years translating fake Latin. Not at all. But a lot of the textbook Latin is Latin that was written in the 20th century, meaning like written in the past 100 years, whereas this is lightly adapted from Cicero. They might be tweaking some things to make it better for this chapter, but this is almost straight from Cicero. So this is literal, actual Latin that Cicero wrote.